village board to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you everyone for their attendance. The minutes can reflect the role of various trustees and staff. Let's move on to item 3, entertain a motion for the approval of the 7:15 village board meeting minutes and the file of 4:17 Park and Rec, 6:24 Joint Library Board, 6:25 Plan Commission meeting minutes as presented.
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. Comments, questions, clarifications on the minutes?
I just have one correction on the village board minutes. For the 15th on page 2, about 3/4 of the way down, it's under the resolution authorizing issuance of the parameters of the sale. And then I made the motion, and then it was seconded by trustee Brunkwell. I think it probably should say President Brunkwell.
Well,
You haven't been trustee for quite a while.
technically we are all trustees, but, okay. Any others?
On that same page, right in the middle paragraph, which reads, John Gasser clarified that current town of Grafton residents would choose annexation to connect. Is that would, should that not be could choose?
Yeah, I think the intent there was that they would not be subject to the assessment. Correct. Unless they chose annexation. I think that was, correct me if I'm wrong, trustee Gassard, I think that's what you were.
My intent was they would not be charged anything unless they chose to be annexed into the village.
So in other words, change would to could?
And
I think it reads better.
yeah, I would agree.
I would also point out on the planning commission minutes, page 5, there's just a misspelled word in the third paragraph down, last sentence. Commissioner Harms favored limiting the house of operation. It should be hours of operation.
Yes. All right, motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. Let the minutes reflect how late Amber is. Anybody in the audience wishing to be heard on a non-agenda item? All right, business presented by the president. There is actually one document regarding housing ratio mixes that's floating somewhere, started with Tom. I don't know who's got it now.
I thought that was my copy.
No, it's for that. Pass it down once you read it. Let's move on to item 6, resolutions, ordinance, action items. Item A is an item we've talked a little bit about before, and then it's the preliminary resolution for Riverbend Road. And Amber, I know you're late.
Sure,
Wrap it up.
sorry.
You want to get right into it?
Sure, no problem. I think we talked about this about a month ago, just a little bit. But this is the preliminary special assessments for Riverbend Road, and this is for extending both sanitary, sewer, and water from the current village limits just east of Yuma Street, east to the new development along Fort Washington Road. And I'll just remind everyone these extensions were required per an existing pre-annexation agreement that we were required to provide these services to the parcel at the time that it was developed. So tonight we are looking at village approval of the preliminary resolution. This is just preliminary. All of these properties currently are in the town of Grafton. And then once construction is complete and we have like actual costs, we will do a final resolution to look at those.
Okay. I know when we discussed a little bit, we talked about the similar type of project that we had over on Coit, where we actually had, based on overly large frontages that we actually put caps on. I know that there's at least one in here that has a fairly...
The one that's in here that looks large for now is cut up into new, it's kind of an odd shape. I would imagine at the time that anything along Riverbend Road would annex in, it might possibly be numerous different parcels by that point. There are numerous different frontages with other properties in between, if that makes sense. But yes, if they did annex all at once, we could put a cap on it as well.
All right, questions?
question that on the actual resolution itself, I could not find anywhere in the resolution where it says as properties are annexed into the village. I couldn't find that.
Historically, it's only been billing for village parcels, so this will only impact, like, maybe you've got a question from Mike, if you need a clarification in there, to identify that.
I think we could, you could make that part of your offer, that obviously it's treated as a deferred, and it wouldn't be truly assessed unless and until annexation of the parcel.
How would that be added into the resolution, or how would that
We added into the motion. I can put that in there if that's. All right, any other questions for Amber? All right, so the motion then will be to approve, make a motion to approve the deferred preliminary special assessment resolution for Riverbend Road utility extensions, pending final annexation into the village.
We could get an offer like a true resolution, but same.
This is in the form of a motion. Do you want to do it in the form of a resolution?
Preferably.
All right, let's change that to a resolution then. So I'll take that offer motion and a second.
I'll offer.
I'll motion. Give me a second.
I'll second. Is that with that modification?
Okay. Offer motion, second, final comments, questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion, resolution passes. Item B is a resolution amending the 2019 general fund budget, and that is our standard housekeeping changes as we have known expenses start to occur over the year.
It's for the wage adjustment increases approved by the board last fall, and the change for the 2019 additional funds for the assessor contract for the review.
Okay, we do this once or twice a year. Entertain that offer motion in a second.
I'll offer.
Motion.
Second.
Offer motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That resolution passes. Item C is an acceptance of fundraising donations from McDonald's, and it's a motion to approve the acceptance of a donation of fundraising proceeds from McDonald's to be used for items containing Grafton Police Department's logo, which are handed out at community service events.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Motion second, Lisa or Jesse, you want to give us a little
Certainly,
high-level
actually.
background for maybe the press?
Yes, this is actually due to the timing of our Finance Committee and Public Safety Committee meetings this month. This is actually being brought directly to the board. Under village policy, donations must be formally accepted by the village board. McDonald's Corporate reached out to the police department. I understand they may have also reached out to our fire department. Regardless, what they're looking to do is have a specific evening in which proceeds from sales are donated to various not-for-profit entities, and our police department has been identified, and so therefore it's being forwarded to the board, and our fire department may have also been. We're waiting for confirmation on that. Regardless, the police department's item is before the board this evening.
Questions? Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Move on to item D, report of the plan commission. It's one item. It's a motion to approve the ordinance amending Creekside Plaza Plan Unit Development for permitted and conditional uses in the C2 district be approved.
Make the motion.
I'll second.
Sure, since she stayed, you might as well give her the spotlight.
So back in 2007, when the village approved the planned unit development ordinance for Creekside Plaza, unfortunately, the ordinance didn't specify what uses would be considered as permitted or conditional for the PUD development. So this is just a correction, clarification that we will be using the C2 district with a couple modifications for that planned unit development.
Which is self-commercial. All right. Any questions for Jessica? Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Let's move on to item 7, department and officers reports. Good representation tonight. Any questions for staff? Anything they wish to pass along to the board? How are things going over at Shady Hollow, Amber?
They're moving.
They're moving? Okay, all right. What about over at Bluestone?
Bluestone, they poured the curb and gutter for phase one, week and a half ago maybe. And are currently working or waiting for We Energies and AT&T and those kind of private utilities to get installed before they do any more work.
Did all the electrical power line issues get fixed by 17?
They did. Yes. Yep, utility work is just about done on the street project for this year, so they're gonna be wrapping up with a lot of asphalt paving here in the next couple weeks as well.
Okay, thanks. You guys have any questions? All right, let's move on to item 8, licenses. We have one, two, we're doing about 8, and the places of employment. Entertain a motion for approval.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes. Let's move on to item 9, report of the bills. Entertain a motion for the approval of village expenditures, $816,794.71.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Motion is second. Comments, questions on the bills? Yes.
Page 21. I don't know which. It's second. Yeah. Second part. The Coca-Cola Company, tax escrow refund.
Yeah, they overpaid on their personal property tax.
The Coca-Cola Company has.
They would have to pay personal property tax on any machines that they own that are leased in the village.
Okay, that makes sense. And then the unemployment insurance, for the fire department?
It's for a unemployment claim for a previous fire department employee.
So a part-time
For
volunteer?
a different state. We've tried to make contact with the state of Oregon and the state of Wisconsin, and they just point fingers at each other. We're going to charge interest and penalty, that's how we pay it, and still try to get a complete answer as to basis of the dollar amount.
Okay, so you want to start that from the top one more time?
Yeah.
There is a former volunteer, paid-on-call firefighter who earned money in working for the Grafton Fire Department, moved to Oregon. I don't know the exact circumstances, but lost his job, filed for unemployment. We received this bill from the state of Wisconsin saying it's a pass-through from the state of Oregon. We contacted the state of Wisconsin asking for specifics. They said call Oregon. The state of Oregon said talk to Wisconsin. We just want to know, is this a one-time payment? Is this a weekly payment? What is this payment exactly for? What period of time? So we're still in the process of trying to get an answer, but in the meantime, we were getting charged interest and penalties, so that we make a payment, and we're still attempting to get an answer from either state.
So
It's for
the goal is to get reimbursement?
well, the goal is to find out exactly what the basis for the charge is, and then we would appeal depending on what it's for. But again, state of Wisconsin saying, it's a pass-through from Oregon, talk to Oregon, state of Oregon saying, we're going to state of Wisconsin, what they do is their own business. But again, we were just trying to find out, is this a one-time payment, a monthly payment, and nobody will give us any information.
Why would it be a payment at all for us?
If you earn earnings within 52 weeks, it's considered in state of Wisconsin. Even if you move to another state, it still would be unemployment.
But he was a part-time employee, so there's no guarantee.
Nicholas was one of the employees who was working close to the $1,200 cap before he left.
Right, but he wasn't a full-time.
Correct. He was
Employee.
paid on call,
Right.
limited hours. But again, once we receive more information, I'll definitely pass it along, since that has created a few questions from the trustees.
Yeah. Let's not, we'd like to see this brought to the board if this comes to us again. Obviously, I mean, this is kind of a new one to me. I haven't seen this ever happen before.
Correct. I've never seen it out of state before either.
Yeah, so who's doing the research on this one?
Myself and Andrea.
All right, so let's bring back an update next time, so we know what's kind of going on here.
Can do.
All right. Other questions on bills? All right, we've got some homework to do. We have a motion, a second, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Nay.
Show one nay. With that being said, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion, a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you very much.